Hey everyone, hope you've had an amazing week as usual. Now, this week I've done something I've wanted to do for a little while, and that's turn an inspired Hex street trials bike into a comp bike. Now, how have I done that? Well, I'm going to run through the spec of this, what I've done to make it more suitable to ride these amazing rocks in a second. But yeah, these rocks, this is Sterling Quarry. I've been here a few times, but these particular rocks I've never ridden before. I've only seen from a distance, but the other day I came down to have a look, and oh my word, this is probably one of the better riding spots in the UK that I've ever seen. How have I never come and explored this bit? How has no one ever told me this place existed? Because no one told me it existed, I thought, oh, it's probably not worth riding, but oh my god, this is like a seriously good place to ride. So that brings me to my inspired Hex. This is probably a bit more suited to my style of riding. It's a little bit shorter, less extreme, mainly in the bottom bracket height. However, a standard Hex will be pretty hard to ride. You know, big moves on natural because they've got hard tyre pressures, narrow rims and short stems, which makes everything a bit too compact and skitterish. So what have I done to this bike? Let me show you. I had planned on doing a build video on this bike, but the garage is currently being used to paint doors while Jane and I are doing house renovations. So rather than wait, I just threw some parts on my old frame without filming it. Some of the parts are a bit dusty or muddy or even have some paint overspray, but it all works well. So let's take a closer look. Firstly, the biggest change is the cockpit. I usually use a 90 by 35 degree stem, which is similar in reach to a 50 by 0 degree stem. Now I use a steep stem to raise the height of the front end because my rigid fork is shorter than a suspension fork. A short stem is great for bunny hops and spins, but it does make a cramped feeling for static power moves where you need more room to move your body and as a result more power being put into the bike. So to give me more room, I've added a lengthy 120mm stem. This is still short as far as comp bike stems go, but this bike has a long reach and steeper head angle, so this is as long as I'd want to go. I changed the bars to some carbon comp bars. I was tempted to use the Inspireds as I like the shape, but I wanted to make this bike as light as possible, and these bars are a decent weight saving. They're also designed to be tilted forwards, so the sweeps reflect that. It means when you're on the rear wheel, the bar feels more normal, increasing rear wheel control. Tilting them forwards also has the effect of increasing the stem length even further. A modern comp bike will have the equivalent of a 200mm plus stem. Crazy. Again, I've gone conservative and I haven't tilted the bars as far forwards as most comp riders, as I'm not used to how that feels at all. A carbon fork saves more weight. All 26-inch comp bikes will use a front rim brake these days, but I'm keeping this bike dual disc to keep it quiet and riding smooth. This is a trial specific fork, so should be plenty strong enough for what I can throw at it, but it does feel a little flexier than the inspired alloy fork it replaced. The carbon might have more flex, but the 10mm dropouts might also have something to do with it. The wheel is an Echo TR disc hub onto the light bicycle carbon rim, which is super light. I didn't have a suitable Schwalbe front tyre, so stuck on a comp tyre instead. I would like to try a 2.1 Billy Bonkers, as I've been really impressed with them on my latest Hex. Because the Bonkers has thousands of knobs, there's also thousands of edges to grip the rocks. And even though it's not a soft compound, it's gripped to stuff I didn't expect it to, so could make a great front comp tyre. Cranks are Tratec SL models, and in keeping with comp spec bikes, I'm using a crank mounted freewheel by Echo. Keeping the freewheel up front has a couple of benefits. Mainly it lightens the rear wheel, making lifting it and being accurate easier. Also, if you do have issues blowing up hubs, then it's a lot easier to carry a spare crank and freewheel than it is a whole spare rear wheel. The freewheel itself is 18 tooth and has over 100 engagement points. The smaller size really helps with ground clearance, especially on a lower BB bike like this. With the freewheel up front, that means I can use a simple fixed rear hub. This is an inspired model and is one of the only fixed hubs with a disc mount. The 15 tooth sprocket just screws on, and with it being fixed in place, it means the chain is constantly moving, which is really quite weird. I built this wheel for my Retro Ozony comp bike last year. Now Light Bicycle had the perfect rim for it, a 48mm wide carbon model, which is the same width as a comp specific rim, but stiffer due to being double wall rather than single wall with lots of weight saving cutouts like alloy comp rims have. Wider rear rims are especially helpful when riding rocks, as it gives way more support for the tyre and helps prevent tyre fold when riding off-camber objects. The tyre itself is a Schwalbe Hands Damp. This looks to be a great option for the rear of a comp bike. Nice width, not too heavy, and a decent compound.
If I was being picky, I'd probably cut the tread shorter to prevent squirm on rocks, but if I was riding softer ground, it's ideal as it is. The elephant in the room is the saddle, in inverted commas. This is a highly modified kids BMX racing saddle and was a popular thing to do back when most comp bikes still had the option for seats. To be fair, this has been cut down way more than I'd like. It came with a frame I bought, but it saves a bunch of weight and is better than having a bit of exposed open pipe. I've swapped from my usual Hayes Dominion A4 brakes to the lighter 2-piston A2 models. This was to save weight, but also 2-piston brakes can have more bite as there's less toe-in like lots of 4-piston brakes have. I'll find out if that's the case soon. I'm using one resin and one sintered pad in each brake. Now, I'd love to say this is a great secret being revealed, but the truth is the resin pads have more bite, but I only had one pair, so rather than having one brake with less bite than the other, I split the pads to have the same performance on each brake. And I've also fitted some lighter 203mm rotors to save a bit more weight.
So that is the bike. Like I said, I have completely just cobbled this together with random parts, threw it together just the other day. So it's maybe not as refined as I'd like it. I'd love to strip the paint back and get it painted nicely, get some parts on it which just look a little bit better, but yeah, for just random parts that I had, I'm pretty stoked with it. Let's see if I can actually ride this thing though. Well, I've had a tiny little warm up. This long stem sure feels weird, but here goes. Let's see if I can actually get up and over some of these rocks and hopefully make it look alright. Essentially I want to end up on this top one here, going up this face. Once I can get onto that bit, I don't think it'd be too bad, but pretty pointy getting there. Come on. I'm going to struggle to make this look good. I don't know if I can just go from here. Be a big jump. That's scary. Oh. I'm gonna have to be super accurate on this. No, 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 no. Oh no. Oh, I was gonna go then. Watch my feet. One thing I want to try is an up to front with this super long stem and forward roll bars. See what difference it makes. I haven't upped the front here. It's not the biggest in the world, but we'll see how it goes. How did that not go up? How did that not go up then? There we go. Struggling to even walk over this stuff. Good way to end that. Fail. Quite a horrible one here. I'm thinking going off this rock here and kind of wanting to jump onto this, but that is so off camber, it's going to be a real test for the tyres. So I'm going to try and basically side up and land rolling and try and get my front wheel over the other side, hook, and then try to get to the top. Here's hoping the tyres at least grip to it a little bit. I thought I was going to save it with that tyre slipping away, but didn't quite. Okay, that was scary. And that will do. That was a scary line though. Big old gap, big old drop to fall in. But I'm really glad the line all went together, especially this like side up gap, roll, get the grip. I'm actually really stoked on that. Alright everyone, I'm going to call it there. I've been at this for about 4 hours now and it actually feels like I maybe got about 4 clips. We'll have to see how long this video turns out, but that's me pretty exhausted now. I thought this bike would suit me and I think it does, but I'm so surprised with how hard work it still is on natural. This place is super tech. It's one of the most difficult places natural wise I've ridden for a long time, so maybe that's why I'm so exhausted. The bike is weird, but definitely rode fairly well. I think if I was going to do it again, I would go for a slightly shorter stem. It would probably still feel pretty decent, but without the weird steering going on. The discs are nice in that they're pretty quiet, but a rim brake, certainly on the back, would definitely make the bike more accurate because there's still some wobble from the spoke movement. But yeah, I've been wanting to build this bike for a while. What did you guys think? Are you tempted to compify a Hex yourself? I can definitely recommend it. It's been good fun. I hope you all have an amazing week, and yeah, I'll catch you next time. So take care everyone. Bye bye.